So today I'm going to walk you through A to Z how I made over $10,794 in 30 days as an all commission over the phone appointment setter. So whether you're a setter now, whether you're looking to get a setter role, really doesn't matter. I'm going to give you everything you need to actually be on the road to 10K months in the next 30 days here. So first and foremost, let's just jump right in, is finding an offer. So if you're not on a roll, even if you are, this is going to help assess kind of where you're at and be a little bit more self-aware there. But a good spread is 5%. This is our buy box. This is what we're looking for, is 5% on cash collected. Meaning if you set an appointment, the deal closes, it's 10K, you get 5%, you get $500, right? That is good. Now, great is an offer with 5% spread plus an escalator. Meaning if, let's say, you collect $50,000, right? You set 10 appointments, 5 close, and you generate $50,000 in revenue, you get, a bonus. So you go from 5% to 6%, whatever it is, just arbitrary examples. That's good. That's great. Like that's what I had on my offer. Absolutely love it. And then when it comes to your actual role, there's pretty much 2 options as a setter. And I'm talking over the phone specifically, is outbound, meaning you have these people, they put their information in, name, phone number, email, you call them, right? That's outbound. We're calling them. It's not like cold calling because they already rose their hand. On the flip side, you have inbound, right? Which is where people book a 15-minute phone call on your calendar. You call them and you set them for a strategy call, right? The Zoom call to actually close them on the deal. And that's not your responsibility, that's someone else's. Either or works. Outbound works. Like I've made over 10,000 doing outbound. Inbound's great, it's even better. But if it's your first role, it's gonna be much, much easier to land an outbound role, right? So let's talk about how we can actually find this role. Is Facebook groups rip. Just make sure you're using the right ones. So in the description below, I'll put 2 Facebook groups that I've used. Just be self-aware. If someone's like, oh, I'm gonna send you a Telegram, don't fucking do that. Don't be stupid. If they're offering, like payment, don't pay people for that. None of that stuff. Or Sales Pipeline Pros, absolutely phenomenal. Essentially, these people are recruiting agencies, meaning they'll help you find a gig and then they'll get paid by the actual, offer, the employer, because they help them find talent, right? Winnet Sales is another fantastic one if you're looking for roles. So those 2, I'll put links below in the description as well. LinkedIn works. It's not as great. Facebook's kind of like the meta, the central hub of high ticket sales. So that's what I'd recommend. And then last resort is you can pay for placement. That is like, personally, I'm not the biggest fan of it. It's entirely up to you. It works, but it's entirely up to you. Keep in mind that's something you have to pay for, right? Now, notes for the interview is, regardless of where you're at on the totem pole, dude, this will help you out. Display the fact that you have a high teachability index. Like when I hire setters and I train setters, that is the number one thing I look for, is how coachable is this person? Are they a sponge? Are they self-aware? Meaning if me and you do a role play, I was like, dude, how do you think you did? And you say an 8 and you sucked ass, I'm probably not going to hire you because you're not self-aware, right? That's what you're looking for. And on the flip side too, you love to do the needle moving tasks that increase the company's bottom line. That's a big thing. Like at the end of the day, you're a money generator. That's what sales is. So wear something nice, have a nice Zoom background, and look like a pro. I wouldn't be wearing this if I was interviewing for a role. I just wouldn't. Now, if you're completely new to this space, you have the most advantage. And here's what I mean by that, is your edge is the ability to go to lengths that other people will not to generate results. This is like literally how I would land every role with no experience, is pounding the table on that fact. Is like, I am willing to go to lengths that, simply put, other people will not, to bring in money for this company. And then have something in your resume that proves that point. That's what people want, is go-getters. They want hunters, right? Skill is great, but dude, skill loses if the work ethic isn't there, right? So that's just notes for the interview. Now, once you get hired, learn the funnel. Like watch the video sales letter. Even if you're already a setter right now on an offer, understand the sales process and your resources you have. These are tools you can use to, work a lead, to understand what they see on the front end, what might have caught their attention, all this stuff. And train and actually role play with your team. Like take what's working. The best setter, you should be calling them, you should be harassing them. What do they do? What is their process, their workflow, all that stuff, right? And now let's get into the meat and potatoes here. is the framework. So most frameworks, I'm not going to give you guys a script, but most frameworks is introduction, right? Then you set your frame, then you chunk down. You get your, ideal outcome, essentially what they're looking for specifically. And then you chunk down to, current situation, what they do now, financial qualifying, see if they got money for your stuff. Then you go into goals, transition, pitch, and then you book and tie down. Now there's some things I want to touch on right here is when you set frame, I don't like to have a super strong frame. So I'm not going to say, yeah, Nate, so the purpose of the call today is to ultimately, see if you're a good fit for what we do. And if I do believe that's to be the case, I'm going to book a Zoom call. That's 45 minutes to explore this opportunity further. Sound fair enough? I don't like doing that. Not the biggest fan of it. It's too strong. I like to be a little loosey-goosey. That's what I like to do. Now, if you're newer, who knows? That might be better for you. Right, that's when you gotta lean in on a coach there, because I don't know what you do and how your process works specifically. But here's the big thing that's gonna help you out, especially if you already have experience and especially if you don't, is when you chunk down, it could be any question, right? Let's just use BizOp for example. So when it comes to potentially starting XYZ business, I guess what specific outcome are you looking to achieve? And they say passive income, more money. All this stuff, a lot of setters will just take that at face value. Okay, cool. How much more money are you looking to generate? And you're going to get shit answers the rest of the call. And then they're going to set that person at 2 p.m. They're never going to show up and it's going to tank their numbers. So I wanted to touch on this for you guys. When you get something vague, like passive income or more money, you want to push back on it. This is called the unspoken frame of the call. If you tolerate shitty answers, in that first top of the call segment, you are going to have a downstream issue the rest of the call. And you're going to ask questions and they're just going to be super vague. It's an upstream. This is like the standard here. You're essentially showing the tolerance that you have as a sales rep of what you'll tolerate on that call. So when I get something like passive income, be like, okay. And I mean, just so I can, I guess, understand the rationale here, when you say passive income for what exactly? Like, is this for retirement? Is this to walk away from a job? I guess give me more context. Oh, yeah, it's to walk away from a job. Oh, okay. And I guess what's the reason behind looking for alternatives to, like, get out of your job? Stuff like that. Now, granted, that's just on the fly, but you're getting the thing behind the thing. And this is so important, is when you can get, like, more money, why? Right? You're not going to ask that, but when you can get the reason behind more money or you can get the reason behind passive income, that is the thread you will pull throughout the rest of the call. Right? So financially qualifying is probably the hardest things for setters to do, because they'll be like, well, how much do you have right now to invest in yourself? Shitty question. Now, if I completely change it and I'm like, okay, so, I mean, just so I can understand here, like, I guess how much do you have set aside so you can actually get to 10K a month in passive income so you can walk away from that job that makes you feel burnt out? See how, like, way more specific that question is? And it's in their self-interest. And this wanted to go to, the final notes here, is frame it in their best interest throughout. I'm not just going to ask, how much money do you have from us? No, how much money do you have set aside currently so you can do ABC, so you can ultimately get to XYZ? That's how you want to frame this. And especially when you get to the bottom, if you're a setter, even if you're not right now, you're going to send over a pre-call video, meaning you book a time for them on the closer's calendar, and then they watch this video that's going to answer some questions, give them some more context, so they're more in pocket when they show up to the call. So the problem is it's our job as setters to make them watch that pre-call video. But most setters will just be like, okay, yeah, you got to watch this video or they won't take the call. Yeah, I'm going to send you over a really long homework video. Yeah, I'm going to send that over. So you watch it, okay, cool. You can't do that. You got to frame it in the best interest. So like, Nate, I know you mentioned earlier at the start of the call that you really wanted, I guess, more clarity. I mean, I have something that could help. Yeah? What is it? Well, I mean, what I could do is I could send you over a video from our founders that I guess gives you a really good tip of the iceberg in terms of, what it is, kind of how we do it. And then that way, when you get on your call with Nate tomorrow, he's not speaking Chinese. And that way you can get the most out of your time. Do you think that'd be helpful? I do. Cool, great. I mean, when do you feel like you'd actually be able to make the time to watch that video? I could watch it tonight. Lovely, cool. Find the time with them. Like you're providing their own best interests in mind. Get the most out of their time. I know you mentioned earlier, like stuff like that. And now this last note here, when it comes to actually find the real problem and the why behind the vague goals. This is like one of the most beneficial and advantageous things I can give you right now as a setter is when you are on a call, you need to understand the concept of burning bridges. Like a lot of people are doing stuff now, right? They have a job currently. They want to start a business for passive income, or they want to make more money. Okay, but you have a job currently. I mean, it sounds like it's going pretty well. I mean, just so I can understand, like, what's the reason behind, not just doubling down at your job, waiting 3 years, getting a promotion that way versus just looking into a business. And then they're going to sell you on it. You get to hear it, but more importantly, they get to hear it from themselves. That's the important thing. And using that question, getting all the context of the conversation, putting it in a bow, putting a bow on it, and presenting it back to them. That's how I want you to think about this. If they're in college right now, they have a high-paying tech job, but now they want to look into a business to start more money. Well, I mean, dude, you're in school right now so you can get your MBA. You already have a really high-paying tech job. I mean, what's the rationale behind, just not duking it out in school, getting that raise in the next 2 years versus looking into something like this? Oh, because I just don't want to work in tech anymore. Okay, why is that? Oh, I'm just burnt out. It's long hours. Okay, that makes sense. See, now we've burnt the bridge. Like, we can check the box. We've steered them to the water. Like, the mental frame you want to have on these calls is lead a horse to water. You can't force it to drink, but you can lead it to water, and that's what you want to do, is burn these bridges, right? I genuinely try and help people. That's the goal. So what I want from you is leave a comment down below of what you want me to cover, stuff like that. And as always, stay focused. I will see you in the next one. Now, closing thoughts for you. A lot of people are asking about the community. I no longer have it open right now. So if you want to work with me and my team, that's completely fine. Just shoot me a DM on Instagram because I'm only doing one-on-one right now. It's the best way I can show up for my clients to the level I want and deliver results that actually crush. So as always, I will see you guys in the next one.